My next guest has been called one of the funniest people you'll ever see on stage by Daily Show host Trevor Noah. Alonzo Bodden stepped into the national spotlight when he won the third season of the show Last Comic Standing. Here's a little taste of his stand-up from his latest special, Historically Incorrect.
I love the United States, but when it comes to certain issues, it's kind of nice being in Canada. Like in Canada, they have a thing called health care. Congress, they get so upset over health care. In Canada, they have health care. Now, I don't know the history of Canada. I don't know how it started, but I imagine that sometime in Canada, somebody said, hey, people are getting sick. And somebody else said, we should take care of them.
Bodden bills himself as cynically good-natured. These days, his cynical side seems to be getting a workout. In 2011, he hosted a Showtime special called Who's Paying Attention? About pop culture and, quote, the decline of Western civilization. He now hosts a podcast by the same name where he takes on everything from NFL protests to President Trump. He's also a regular panelist on the NPR weekly news quiz show, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Alonzo Bodden joins me now ahead of a jam-packed weekend of shows at Laugh Boston. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I love that you showed the Canada clip.
Yeah.
Right? Because now we have a beef with Canada.
Yeah, it's on.
Here's the thing. If you get into a fight with Canada, the whole world knows it's you, not Canada. No, it's not Canada. It's you.
You have jumped ahead to my, I think, fifth question. So why do you think President Trump, and we're totally blowing up the Q&A sequence here.
Okay.
What is it about Justin Trudeau that President Trump has such a hard time with?
I don't think it's Justin Trudeau. I think it's just he doesn't understand how trade works. I think that's one of the big problem he's having with this trade war with the whole world. Like, he just doesn't understand how it works. And the Justin Trudeau thing, I think what does bother him is Justin Trudeau. Like, what's the biggest complaint about Justin Trudeau? He's too good looking. Yeah, they're like, oh, he's ridiculously good. Like, Trump hates that. Right. You know Trump hates that.
Well, and he went into the G7, right, saying to photographers, get a good shot that makes me look skinny and thin and perfect or something like that. Yeah.
And whereas Trudeau just, you can't not get a good shot, you know. So I think that his ego, that's always his downfall, his ego.
Did you see those pictures that circulated when Justin Trudeau came to the United States earlier this year and Ivanka Trump was caught looking at him?
Oh, yeah. And that, that bothers Trump a lot.
Right.
We're not going to go into why, because we're on TV. Come to the club, I'll tell you.
All right, let's backpedal a little bit. You've been here for a few days right now.
Yes.
Is this your fifth day in Boston?
Something
like that. Okay, I tried that. I don't know if I did the math right. And you came by Amtrak and had that experience.
Yes.
Can you detail that a little bit?
So here's the thing. I don't ride the train often. I was taking the train from Albany to Boston. So I go in and I tell the guy, listen, I don't ride the trains regularly. What do I do with my bag? Do I check my bag or do I carry my bag? And he said, well, it's up to you. If you want, you can check it. So I'm like, okay. So he sees my ticket and I'm going to Back Bay Station. That's where I'm going. So they check the bag. So I get off the train in Back Bay, and it was like a quick stop. Like, the train's only there for like 3 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, wow, how did they get the bags off so fast, So I go upstairs, and there's no one from Amtrak anywhere around, but there's a guy in a ticket booth for some other train line. And I said, hey, man, where do I get the bags from Amtrak? And he said, oh, the bags only go to South Station. And I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, this happens all the time. Your bags, you got to get back on the train and go another stop. And here's the thing. This is my problem with Amtrak. First of all, the fact that it happens all the time means this is you guys. And why, when you check my bag, if you look at my ticket says I'm going to Back Bay.
Why then?
Why would you check my bag to South Station? Wouldn't you say, hey, you can't get your bag, you have to carry it? Like, what part of that? I don't even understand the disconnect. It's like, no, company policy is to do it stupid. That's what we do. We're going to send you. And think about it, on an airline, that's supposed to be the thing that never happens, right? Your bag goes somewhere you don't, like you have to be with your bag. Apparently, Amtrak hasn't got the memo.
It's the norm, right?
Yeah, so no knock against Amtrak. Yeah, it is a knock. Yeah. It is a knock, yeah.
So when you have...
Carry your own bag if you're on the train.
You're here for...
Matter of fact, if you're going to take the train, just fly. That would be my advice, yeah. if you're going to go Amtrak, just fly.
Will you be taking Amtrak home, I assume?
No.
No, you're going to fly. All right. So you've been here for 5 days,
Yes.
around about that much. How much longer? You're here for a big stint, right?
Yeah, it's 8 days. I'm here all week.
So what do you do? Obviously, you do press like this, you do your shows, but what do you do to divert yourself when you're in Boston for that much time?
Well, Boston is a great walking city, which is very cool. So I was, and I don't know all the sections of the city, but I was staying in a hotel. I wasn't far from Fenway. Mm-hmm. So I walked over. Now, I've been to Boston a bunch of times. I've never been here when the Red Sox are at home, so I haven't been to a game. But I just wanted to go see it and see the area and stuff. And I will say this, I'm not a fan of Boston teams. Like, I grew up in New York, so it's genetic. I can't be a fan. But I love how much Red Sox fans love the Red Sox. I am a fan of that. Like, this town has psycho sports fans. Yeah. So it was very cool to see Fenway and see part of that. So, so I did that one day. And then, and this was totally random but worked out perfect, Dave Chappelle and Jon Stewart were doing shows in town. So I went to see them.
Oh, that was here? Those selfies or whatever that you put on Twitter? I didn't know that.
So I went to see them, and then as a bonus, Michael Che was on the show, and it was a great show. So I got to hang out and go backstage, and, you know. So it's always fun when you get to hang out with other comics, and those two, I'm hanging out with the best. And if you really want to do something, like enjoy the comedy and then sit back and think how much money they made in one night versus what I'll make this year, and you feel worse about yourself, which is, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It was a great show, and they're great friends, and it was fun. So I've actually had a good week here.
You know, I think this might be the first time, maybe I missed it, this is the first time that Michael Che came to town that the media didn't bring up again his comments about
Boston.
I don't want to get into a huge detour with that. By the way, I did not grow up in Boston. I've lived here 20 years. This is my home. This is where I'm raising my kids. What was your take when he made those comments?
Well, it's no secret, right? Boston has a racist history. There's different. This is the thing about cities in the East Coast, because I'm from New York.
Yep.
New York has it. Philly has it. Whatever. Cities where immigrants came in, and these are cities that were cities before this was a country. Every immigrant group claimed its territory, right? So there was like the Irish part of town, and the Italian part of town, and the Jewish part of town, and black part of et cetera, et cetera. And they've never gotten along. And this goes back, you know, to whenever. So now, when you're dealing with cities and you're dealing with gentrification, like now, when I meet someone from New York and they grew up in a black neighborhood, my first question is like, is your neighborhood still black? Because like Harlem's white now, and Brooklyn, there's only 4 black people left in Brooklyn. And, you know, and Jay-Z is one of them because he can still afford it. But so in that joke, when he's talking about that, I think he's talking about that historical separation and the racism that goes with it. And yeah, Boston has a reputation for it. So, we're comics. We make a joke, we make a statement, and now we're held to some standard like, that's absolutely the truth. You're like, no, like the problem, it's not that comics have gotten worse, it's that politicians have moved in on our territory. They say things so ridiculous under the guise of it being true that now we're held to some weird truth standard, but we're comedians.
You're ending right where I had initially planned to start. I've seen you quoted saying that doing Trump-focused comedy is boring. I think that was the adjective I saw. How do you handle that when, on the one hand, he is his own best material so often, yet on the other hand, he's everywhere. He's not just doing the North Korea summit, but he's trying to play de facto NFL commissioner. Like you can't escape him. You're hearing about his tweets when you wake up. How do you work around that if you are kind of bored?
Well, here's the thing, and I've been saying this since he was the president-elect. You can't out-Trump Trump, meaning that no matter what ridiculous thing you say, he's going to tweet something more ridiculous to where you're a comic, you're like, wow, this guy's good. It dominates the news cycle. So as a comic, you have to address it. You can't pretend it doesn't happen. But the reason I say it's boring, it's because, okay, he's going to say something that is not true, is horribly inaccurate, or is offensive, or race, and we know he's going to say it. And then we have to, so fill in the blank, right? Whether it be that Haiti is a blank hole country, or that Mexicans are all rapists, or that the Nazis in Charlottesville, some of them are good people. Yeah. So it's like, okay, so he said something racist. Like, what do we do? Or something horrible about woman. This woman's a pig, or this woman, blah, blah, blah. So the reason I say it becomes boring, because it's like, it's a formula, right? Trump says something outlandish, point out how outlandish it is, insert punchline, move on. And then, like, I'll give you an example of something we never even bother with anymore, the Obama comparison. In the beginning, it was like, wow, if Barack Obama did blank, like, we don't that's
it's
such a given. That's
such
a given that we don't even mention it. So you look at now with North Korea, when Barack Obama was going to talk to North Korea, it was the end of the world as we know it.
And
it
now
was the end of democracy. It was blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, how'd you like a Nobel Prize? It's ridiculous.
Give me a quick description. Where are you going to be tonight? If people see
I'm going to be at Laugh Boston.
Laugh Boston.
It is at the Westin Waterfront Hotel. I'm there tonight, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows Saturday. It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of funny. Yes, I will address a little Trump, but there's a lot more going on in the world. We're going to have a good time and great shows.
Alonzo Bodden, thank you for being here. Good to meet you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Again, you can catch Alonzo Bodden live at Laugh Boston tonight through June 16th. For more info, visit laughboston.com.